What's going on, guys? So, I'm going to apologize for the lack of activity. I've just come to realize that I don't really do much on a regular basis, and I'm not going to, like, film every little thing that I do because that would just get repetitive. Like, hey, I woke up. Hey, I took a shower. Hey, I'm brushing my teeth. Just do that every fucking day. You guys don't want to see that. I don't want to have to see it or edit it or anything like that, but I'm gonna do a little something different. Instead of like going through my daily routine, I'm just gonna sit down and talk to you guys for a little bit. Give you some backstory on something that's important to me, and that is this little girl right here. That is my Tinkerbell, the best Chihuahua in the world. Just look how she looks at me. That is my precious little baby. And before you guys say anything, yeah, it's a Chihuahua. Alright, get over it. I know that they got a bad reputation. Oh, them little yappy fuckers, baby. You know what? It's a good dog. And she was free. So, the story behind this is my family started with, I think we ideally were just going to get two Chihuahuas. We had a male for about a year or two, and then we got a female. And then, the breeding happened, and we wound up with, I think, a total of 4 Chihuahuas, and we had 2 labs outside, so like 6 dogs. Well, a very good friend of my dad's that he worked with, he had a couple dogs, one of which was this precious baby. And I don't remember exactly what the situation was, but his family was just like super busy, I guess, and didn't have the means to take care of a little Chihuahua. And I think the other dog that they had was like a bulldog or something like that. I know the sizes were really off because little Chihuahua, and I don't remember exactly if the other one was a bulldog or it was just some big dog. That's all I know. Anyway, so around this time period, I was 17 years old, just about to wrap up my junior year of high school, and here's where the story takes a bit of a twist. About a week or two before we took possession of this little darling, I had been dumped by a girl that I'd been with for like a year, and I'm not going to try to go all achy breaky heart story on you. I can dive into that at a different time, but right now I'm talking about my little dog here, not my past relationships. And so, it was a year-long relationship. At that point in time, 17 years old. That means a lot and all that shit. And, we had some experiences. Like, that was the chick I went to prom with. The only time I ever went to prom was with her. So, yeah. And at 17, I didn't have near the people to talk to that I do now. Because I just life experiences. I was a high school student, so I was around other high school students most of the time, and I didn't really have that many friends in high school. One of which that I'm really we're best friends now. I'm going to his wedding here in a few months. At the point in time, me and him had kind of had a falling out where we were still friends, but we were not getting along the greatest. And he's kind of an idiot anyway. Not gonna lie. So, trying to talk to him about my feelings, that wouldn't really get me anywhere. And, I don't know, something about talking to other guys about that at any point just feels weird to me, even though I was 17. Whatever. Moving on, I didn't have near the people I do now. Like, I think now, the amount of people I know on Facebook, even the people I don't, super know really well, if I was going through something, I've got options. I got people I could talk to. When I was 17, I didn't have that. I had a job, but I had only been working there for a few months at this point, and, I didn't know a lot of people super well. At that point, I would say the majority of people were acquaintances. I wouldn't say that they were my friends. So, you know how animals, I guess, have that sense about them? They can tell whenever you're, distressed or just not happy or whatever. Well, this little girl picked up on that immediately, because I can recall whenever she first, her first night home with my family, I actually had to work. I had been to school that day. I think it was a Friday. My dad picked me up and took me to work, and I forget what the shift was I worked back then. I think because I wasn't 18 yet, I had to be out of the store at a certain time. I worked at Target for my first job, for those of you who don't know. And so I think I worked something like 4 o'clock or 4:30 to like maybe 9. I don't know. And I was a little upset that I didn't get to, be home to witness her being dropped off. So my dad took me to work. He rushed home so he could meet his friend to, take delivery of the puppy. And at that point, I think I never did get the full story on it. She was like maybe 2 years old, I think. Well, let's just go with that. She was like 2 years old. And again, the whole reason that the other family couldn't keep her is just they didn't have, like, I guess the time to care for a smaller dog. And she wasn't getting along with the bigger dog that the other family had. So we had to essentially rescue her, almost. And again, I had to work that night, whatever. I can't remember if I had a good shift or a bad shift. So long ago. And I just know that when I got home, like, on the ride home, my mom told me that, she's a little bigger than we thought. Because we had a teacup chihuahua at the time that came from the original 2 that started breeding. So rare dog, and it was pretty cool. But we thought that Tinkerbell was going to be about that size, like just a little thing. But she wound up being just slightly bigger. Not by a lot, though. I mean, it's chihuahuas. They can't get too big. So, yeah, I hear that on the way home, and I'm like, oh, I'm anxious to see her, all this stuff. And my mom was like, yeah, we had the little, teacup chihuahua. We had her up on the couch, and she got in Tinkerbell's bed. Now, at this point, I gotta say as well, Tinkerbell came with a few things that we didn't have for our other dogs, one of which was a doggy bed. And that was kind of new to us, because we just set it up on the couch, and ever since that day, we've had a doggy bed in the living room for her, specifically. But yeah, before then, we just had not a sectional couch, but like 2 separate couches. One like this, and then one like this, and there was like a little gap in between them, like on a corner. And we just had like blankets and stuff there for our dogs just to be in the floor. And that worked. But with her, we got an official bed. Anyway, so I hear that, and I'm home. I come in, and the dogs, no matter what chihuahua it was, every dog we've ever had barks in excitement whenever someone comes home. And so that happened, and I don't remember if she did or not, but that's not important. What was important is I immediately was like, well, let me check this dog out. I sit down on the couch, let her sniff my hand, then I just gently pick her up, and then she puts her 2 front paws up on me and starts sniffing of me and stuff, and I just petting on her and everything. And I spent that night just with her next to me watching TV, and I would I'd bring her back to my room when I went to my room, and then I think this is the only time I ever did this. To make her more comfortable, I took her entire bed and put it on my bed when I was ready to go to sleep that night. And I guess it worked out, because I woke up the next morning. She kept barking because anytime my parents would open their door and go in and out, she would just bark. And they were confused because they didn't know that she was in my room, so they heard the barking and was like, where's the dog at? And eventually they figured it out. But yeah, so I had to go to work that next day, and again, got dropped off and got picked up, and my mom was like, your dog whined and whined all day. And apparently she shit up and down the hallway. Only time she's ever done that I know of. And I guess it was a form of rebellion. My human's not here, what the hell? So I get home, and she was all excited to see me. And then from that point on, it was just, I kind of teased at first, oh, that's your dog, or that's that's your baby girl, you're her daddy now. And at first, I was just psh, whatever. I didn't want to own up to it, but I forget how long it took me. But I was like, yeah, that's my dog, pretty much. And I soon forgot about my heartache, and I wound up having an awesome summer that summer. I think that was the summer that I had managed to save up to buy my very first car, which was awesome because that meant, senior year starting high school. I'm mobile, bitches. No more school buses. Yeah. And that was a big thing back in those days. It was like a social status. But, so yeah, that's the story on Tinkerbell the Chihuahua. And I might make another one of these on how I wound up with Brownie, which... It's not as interesting of a story, but it's still a story nonetheless. So, yeah. Just look at this little cuteness right here. She is, at this point, I want to say like 10 or 11 years old. She's been a part of my family for, around 10 years now. Yeah, around 10 years. It'll be 10 years next May. But she's just a good little puppy, and I keep her around because she makes me happy. Like, I never had any sort of appointment or anything set up for this, or diagnosis, but if there's such a thing as like an emotional support chihuahua, that is it. And I can't really explain much else. Just a little dog that I mean a lot to her, and whenever I'm, laying in bed at 4 o'clock in the morning because I can't sleep because I'm thinking about, where I want to be in life and how I fucked up already, I just pet on her and everything, and then my brain kind of starts to slowly, calm down to the point where I can actually sleep. So that's it on Tinkerbell the Chihuahua. And if you guys enjoyed this, let me know down below. If you haven't already liked my Facebook page, please go do that. I will link this down below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching it on Facebook, then you already are part of the page. Thank you, by the way. I've seen so many more likes and follows on there, and it just means a lot to me. Even if you guys just, skim around the videos and you see mostly the posts and stuff, it still means a lot that, you're checking it out and you're taking an interest. So, thank you. And with that, guys, I will catch you whenever I decide to make another one of these. See ya.